Hey all, this is Sean from the Pompey Games Room. I just wanted to start off by saying thanks for checking out my latest review here for Wolverine Adamantium Rage. Developed by Acclaim and released for the Sega Megadrive Genesis and Super Nintendo in 1994, it's considered to be one of the most challenging titles across both platforms. So this is Wolverine Adamantium Rage, which I'm playing for the first time doing this review on the Megadrive Genesis. Both versions of this game have different storylines, with the Super Nintendo version centering on Wolverine receiving a message that someone or something has information about his past. The game then starts off in a laboratory in Canada, whereas the Megadrive Genesis version has an intro showing Wolverine holding a picture of someone or something, which he crushes in his hand. You then see the procedure where adamantium is added to his bones and where you begin the level after he breaks free from the testing procedure. So my first impressions of this game are that it's amazingly well detailed. Loads going on in the background, and there's also a pretty good soundtrack as well. You start the game with 5 lives, and will need to complete all levels in a set time on the Megadrive Genesis version in order to progress. The Super Nintendo version of this game is again slightly different, in that you are required to kill a set amount of enemies before you're able to move on to future levels of the game. It's also worth mentioning at this time as well that each version of this game had a slightly different set of moves, with the Megadrive Genesis allowing Wolverine to roll into a ball and travel short distances, and the Super Nintendo version giving you the ability to climb any wall or ceiling during the gameplay. So the idea of this game is pretty simple. Guide Wolverine through various stages, gaining information about his past. Along the way, you will need to beat villains and arch enemies to progress through the levels. Also, as a side note, it's one of the first ever games to feature a rechargeable health system, and you're going to need it for this game, as you try to avoid getting shot, electrocuted, and generally beaten up on every level. So let's just quickly touch on some of the items on the screen then. Top right, the picture of Wolverine represents the number of lives you have. As you can see there, we've got 3. Top left indicates your health, which, as I stated earlier, recharges itself throughout gameplay. And to the bottom right of the screen, you'll see a little timer with a flashing red indicator, which, as I said, is only in the Megadrive Genesis version, which allows you to keep tabs on how long you've got left to complete the level. It controls okay, but I did find jumping and some of the attacks a little difficult to execute. Things like jumping between platforms in particular can be a little challenging, and some of the buttons are oversubscribed with combat and movement commands, sometimes being on the same button or even on the directional section of the controller. so trying to kill these annoying flying robots can often mean taking little bits of damage whilst trying to carry out the correct attack. But I'm sure this will be okay after playing the game for a few hours, as you will start to grasp the controls a little more and be able to compensate. So please don't let this hold you back from playing this game. So then, this game is pretty challenging. I myself was still trying to get through the first few stages of this game. It's a very good game and definitely worth checking out. Even as I am not an X-Men fan, there's plenty to keep you entertained on this game. It's also worth mentioning that this game has been heavily compared to Nintendo's game series called Metroid. So if you're a fan of those games, you should be checking this one out for sure. Wolverine Adamantium Rage is a slightly more expensive game on both systems, going from anywhere between £20 to £40 on auction sites, but it's definitely worth checking out and trying to get a hold of a copy if you can. Anyway guys, I just want to say thanks for checking out this video, and before I go, I just wanted to say thank you to all my subscribers, both new and old. I've been away for nearly a year now, but I've been watching videos, posting comments and subscribing to many channels. There really is a great community on YouTube for retro gaming, and I really do appreciate every comment, subscription and email from fellow YouTubers who share in my interest of retro gaming. Please feel free to comment, rate and subscribe, and until next time, thanks for watching.